So you'll let me know when we're live, yeah?
You're pretty much live now, so
cool.
You can just wait for this to turn over. Say a big hello.
Try to get you to shut that door out as window, so it's windy out the back, isn't it?
Okay, you're on.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Glennie D, and thank you for joining me. A big shout out today from Middle Harbour Primary School, Mrs. Irving and Miss Lee. Thank you so much for sending in this request. I'm really excited about working along with you today. So Middle Harbour are running a virtual fete, and they wanted to ask if we could take some mapping and turn that into a 3D view, into isometric. And yes, we can do that fairly easily. I'm going to run you through that now. Before I jumped on today, I had a look on Google Earth, and here we see from the air, this is Middle Harbour Primary. Now, the year 6 will be situating there and maybe in the hall, maybe outside. I'm just running you through an example here today. So let me choose a spot. Let's take, for instance, a square. Now we can see here, let's assume it's going to be sunny, but not too hot. We won't need the shade. I'm going to draw a line here, and let's give it a measurement. So we're using, let's go from, this looks like a tennis court here. So let's draw a line there, and we'll do the same width. So here we have a square. That's what I'm going to draw in 3D. I'm going to have my fate sitting through here. First of all, let's plan where we're going to have our traffic thoroughfare. So let's say the bell goes and students start walking from here. I'm going to guide the students down through the middle, and then when they hit here, they can go to the left or right. So this is my thoroughfare, my main thoroughfare. Let's say that we had some tables set up all along here and through here. So this would be the entry and this would be the exit. So how can I draw this square in isometric? Well, let's start off by dividing it in half and half again. Now let's do the same thing this way. Let's draw a line right down the middle. Let's halve it and halve it. So I've got a grid which is 4 by 4. I'm going to take that grid and draw it in 3D. And then onto that grid, I'll be mapping things like, this looks like a building here. And we have some tennis courts or cricket nets or something here. And this is my shading. So after I've mapped those things onto my isometric grid, we'll design our thoroughfare. Now, let me jump ahead and show you. I did quickly sketch one up. So if you were sharing ideas, would you prefer to work from a map like this in a team? Or do you think you prefer to work in a 3D view like this? So this is an isometric. Why? Because the angles are sloping up left and right. Okay, cool. So let's have a look. Here we see the traffic being guided in. This is the entry. And underneath here, drawing people throughout it is really easy. I'll show you that in a second. And when they reach the end here, they wander off. But they're also going to see down the end, here's the target activity. So we've got some tables set up here. So here's their mini fair. I'm getting a little bit carried away, do you think? At the back, I have a motorbike, which is zipping up this ramp. It's jumping over the principal. All the executive have volunteered to be the humans there, and we're whizzing over and landing right there. Cool. All right. Maybe not. So let's have a look. Let's have a go at drawing this. Now, notice the first thing I need is this point right here. That's my starting point, and we're going to draw these isometric lines. Are you ready? Okay, so I've planned to do this on an A4 sheet of paper. Here's my starting point, and I'll grab my splat just like that, and I'm going to place it on the starting point. I'm drawing a line to the right and to the left. I'm going to extend those lines. By the way, if you're following along, you'll probably be drawing lighter. I'm drawing a much darker line so that it comes out under the camera. All right, so there's my lines. You'll actually probably take it right to the edge of the page. Now we had a 4x4 grid. You could use any measurements. I'm going to use the splat to mark off 1, 2, 3, 4 divisions. Do the same thing over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we need to bounce these lines back in this direction. So let me show you. What about we turn the splat upside down? And I'm going to line up that very last one to there. Make sure the splat's straight up and down. And then draw one line. Let's do the same thing over to this point. Let's line up that corner and draw one line. If it's slightly off, it's going to work just fine. Remember, these are just guidelines to help set out your drawing. I'm going to go lightly because I'm not sure where that back corner is. But once I've done that, I know it's right there. So let's pop that one in. Okay, cool. So there is my isometric grid almost. I have, let me quickly make some divisions. There's 1, 2, 3. That's going to help me make a much more accurate grid. Okay, so let me quickly now pop those lines. Let's try and keep these ones a little bit lighter. I'm using a clutch pencil. When I click on the end, it sharpens the lead for me. But most of you guys will just be using the good old-fashioned pencil that I prefer most of the time. Okay, so there is the grid that we'll be using. So let's first take, let's say this building. Let's have a look and see, first of all, what am I looking at here? Okay, there's my starting point. So I'm going to turn the grid this way and notice I've got a line out to the right and the left. That really is those two lines, yeah? So let's come from my starting point. Let's come forwards and find that point and go one grid, half a grid. So we'll go from here 1.5. So that looks like it starts there and finishes 1.5 further. So it's going to start there, 1.5. That's my building. Now, when you're drawing lines on this grid, you're not drawing lines like this or vertical. You are, but in isometric, they're actually looking like on these angles. So from here, well, that's not going to help. Let's draw out this way. And I'm going to come out almost 1. So from here, actually our starting point was here, sorry. From here we come out and then we went 1.5. Let me just erase that one there. Good thing we're drawing in pencil this morning. Now, when I join these, I'm really drawing on this isometric angle. So let's just pop that one along there. Cool, so that boundary is the building. Now, later on, I could bring those corners up and draw the building, but it might hide what's behind. So let's just leave it as a perimeter around the building. Great. Is there anything else we had to map onto here? It looks like we had a shade. It looks like we've got 1, 2, 3 legs, almost full length. Let's do that. So we'll go from here, 1, and we'll come up. How far should we come up? Let's say 1 splat. No, let's say half a splat high. So there's one pole. And the other one's going to finish here. And so let's go halfway in between. Let's say around about there. So let's go up, down. So those are the poles that are going to support my shade cloth. Let's sketch one of those in really quickly. Let's go from here to there. I'm just using a straight line at the moment, and from here back. So what I'm really doing here is drawing like a square in isometric. If that was the middle of the square and I came up, there's a short way, don't worry. If I came up to here and then joined that, what I'm really drawing is a pyramid or a square based, it's a triangular, well, it's a square based pyramid, right? So what I'm going to do is sketch another one beside that, but I don't need to sketch the whole thing. If I just imagine a top, there's my top point there, and then I join that point to each of these legs, there, there, and we'll have a join there, then that's sort of close enough for what I'm imagining. Notice that these little lines here are what give it away as like a light roof structure, pulled tight. Okay, so I would probably not darken that in until later. Finish your whole drawing and then come back with your text or your color pencil. So is there anything else we need to put on here? And we said, notice at the back here, we've got some cricket nets. So let's have a look. From this corner, we'll come up and we'll go a bit over halfway. So from this corner, we'll come up to here. And if that's halfway, bit more than halfway, that's my cricket net. So we're going to draw a line. Let's go one up there and one up there. Now let's connect the top of those. So that is the cricket net, but it will also go away on this angle. Cool. So there's my cricket net. Maybe you'd almost see that. There's the corner there. All right, great. So I think we've got enough elements in there. We know that my traffic flow will be coming in here and then out around this way. Cool. This is great fun. It's a great suggestion. Great project. Let's see. Now, let's go back to our diagram here. Let's draw two lines to help us set out these tables. So what I'm going to do is say my thoroughfare is maybe this is how much room I need in between my tables. Cool. So I'm just going to draw one light line and another light line. How big should the tables be? Let's imagine someone lying down on the ground, and I think that's how long a person would be. If we stand them up, maybe I'm guessing about that tall. So that helps me. Drawing a human figure in there helps you scale everything. So now I know that my tables need to be not too wide, something like that. Let's draw another row along here. So that's going to be my tables. Now, if I want to start a table, I simply draw a line like that. And I think looking at the person, the table should be about this long, maybe one of those trestle tables. And let's just draw it in there. So this is a quick drawing. I would draw the whole thing in pencil and then go over with some pen or text or something at the end. All right, so let's draw another table here. There's the start of a table and the end. Sometimes you might want a little gap in the table so that you can walk through to the front like this. So let's draw another table here. These ones are right touching each other, and we'll finish with one there. So once you've drawn the tops of the tables, the next step is really easy. Just from this corner, draw a leg down, leg and leg. Notice they're all the same length. So let's do the same thing there. So all these tables have got legs. Good. Let's do the same thing along here quickly. Let's start my first table here and finish there. Let's do something different here. Instead of running the table all the way along, let's run the table lengthways down in here like that. And then we can run another table in this direction. Notice I'm only using these isometric angles that we see on the splat. And let's run another table back to here. So this might be an area where you want people to walk into and have a look at all the things going on around here. All right, cool. So we can draw legs onto all of these corners now. If you wanted to have a tablecloth that goes right over, then all you need to do is join the bottoms of the legs too, like this. And when we color that later on, for instance, if I ran a color all the way over there, I kind of, with a few little lines, because it's probably going to be plastic or fabric. So that reads now as a table that's totally covered. All right, so let me quickly draw another table here. This might be a small school desk set up here. Another one. Let's cover that one in. Cool, so we're almost there. Now, let me check my little drawing here. So what about if you wanted to, let's look from the front. That's a table set up. And if we wanted to have a banner across the top with some writing. So there's the person standing behind the table. There's the ground. Then we need to have some sticks or something here. So let's have a go at drawing that. What about, let's pick this table. So if we have some sticks coming up and then a banner going across, and there's your writing on there. Yep. How would you fix the stick to the leg? Maybe you could have, if that's the leg and that's the stick going up, maybe zip ties around there. Maybe you could use what about we put a heavy pot plant there? We kind of use that to anchor it a little bit. So you'll have lots and lots of ideas for what you'll be doing. Let's see, what else? What about an entry? Let's pop a piece of wood up there and a piece of wood, and let's cover it with some little flags hanging down. Or we could have some foam coming across there with some lettering on there. So we're definitely marking that as an entry. Now, how do we draw people? Because they're so small, it really doesn't matter. We just draw a circle and then a body shaped like that, and maybe some legs down the front. If you notice when I start drawing quickly, you'll probably see me just draw a wiggly shape like that, or you could even just do that. And at a distance, you will they'll look like people. Why? Because they stand together. People usually stand and talk, walk in groups. Let's draw a pram here. There's someone walking behind a pram. Our brains are amazing, and they interpret these little squiggles as people. So let's draw some people, some students now standing behind the tables. And let's draw some people walking through the thoroughfare. And we've got some people over here. Notice in the distance, people would get smaller. All right, cool. Let's draw a slightly larger one because they're in the foreground. Right, so now we're going to tidy up our arrow. So this drawing would be for people to sit and communicate how this is all going to work. We have what's called a system of managing the traffic through here. Where will we store all the things? At the end, they're going to see maybe a table set up here with some targets. And I'm using the fact that we've got some netting behind here to stop the balls that are going to hit there and bounce off. Cool. So there's a practical reason why I've got the system of why I'm guiding the people through here. All right, I can't wait to see your solutions, Year 6. I'm really glad that your teachers reached out because I've had a lot of fun thinking about this and how I would set up a fate. So let's go. I think we're just about there. In the background, I notice on the map, if I take to the map here, I can see that there's a building back here in the background. So on my drawing, I can see, let's do the base of the building. Then we'll come up and we could probably draw a roof on of the building. And there it is. It looks like it's got a tree in the background. So we don't need to, it's not an artwork. All we're looking to do is to have enough detail in there that we can look at that and imagine the 3D view that we're looking at. So, oh, hello, Miss B. Anything else we need to include in our virtual mini fate?
No, it looks fabulous. I love it. The balloons, bit of decoration. I can't wait.
I can see you've added balloons. I love the balloons. Okay, let's do the fate atmosphere. Here's a whole pile of balloons. I love it. Anything else? Let's draw under here. Let's draw a big swimming pool. There we go, with the sharks swimming in there, and it's $10 a go to have a swim with the shark. I'm getting a bit carried away here, guys, right? But I can't wait to see what you come up with. So finally, when you have all your drawing done, you may choose to darken in these drawings with a pen and then, or a felt tip, and then erase. or you may choose to grab some marker and add all of your bright details in there, maybe a little squiggle there for the people, some colour.
And if it was wet weather and they're actually doing it inside, I think it would be great for the students to see that that floor plan, if we put the walls in just behind it,
yes,
that it would be easy just to turn that into.
I love it. I love it.
So if we did a wall up here.
I see exactly where you're going there, Miss B. So what you're saying is, if I ignore this, if I drew those lines in, people standing in front, or maybe there you go, and that would be the far corner of the hall.
Yeah.
And I could draw some more walls in here.
Mm-hmm.
So that would now become, there's a door in there.
The walls, and that's your exit maybe for your flow of traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great suggestion. So if you're designing indoor, yeah, that could be the walls of your hall, and that's all sad. So I think it's going to be a great way for you guys to set out your drawings. So thank you so much. I'm Glennie D, and keep those requests coming. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.